Good morning, beautiful ones. So I'm walking along doing this live and I'm just really holding out for the 4G to stay with me in the park. So fingers crossed, because I have faith, but I also have prior of the 4G suddenly falling out. Okay, so I want to talk today in today's Sensitive Superstar series. I want to talk about the inner perfectionist, because as we near Christmas, there may be that old familiar story of everything needing to be perfect for Christmas, because it's easy to have this romantic notion of what Christmas should feel like. And I want to talk specifically to the inner perfectionist today, because we've spoken to the inner drama queen about Christmas, and I think it's time to talk to the inner perfectionist. So if you find yourself in a place where you are thinking, like, on some level, like, I need to have like the perfect Christmas, everybody needs to have the most perfect time, and you're really taking the weight and the responsibility on for everybody else's Christmas as well as having your perfect version, then that's a heavy burden and a heavy load to be carrying into what should be a real opportunity to celebrate and come together and actually let things go. Because, you know, as we get into the deepest parts of winter, it is really about letting go and getting ready for the start of the new. So it seems like a really great opportunity to let go of what you may be holding on to as this has got to be perfect and this has got to work out this way. But you know, things happen and we all have stories and experiences and we all have expectations. So if you really know that you're in a place where you're just like, you know what, I just want to have a fun Christmas, I want to have an easy Christmas, I want everybody just to feel relaxed. If you are in any way like playing a part in Christmas, and I'm guessing that you will be, then I want you to just know that how you show up in your sensitive superstarness is absolutely how you can have an impact on the people in your life. You know, if you want them to have a really fun Christmas, then you show up and have a really fun Christmas. If you want it to be really relaxed, then you show up and be really relaxed. But I want to give some specific guidance or advice, you know, for you to take if you want to, so that, you know, if things happen, because they always do, you know, you're able to relax and release that so that you can be letting go of the inner perfectionist. And also any of the other inner control freaks that may show up at Christmas for you. So the first thing I want to say is, because, you know, it may well happen that like somebody kicks off at Christmas, like you're getting a whole bunch of your family together, maybe a whole bunch of your friends, you might have kids around. Chances are things could kick off in some way, right? Like, and even just from something minor, it might trigger you, or it might make you feel like, oh my god, I knew this was going to happen, you know, and the drama queen will kick in. It may happen that you get your period, you know, on Christmas Eve. It may be that something is said that actually makes you feel really emotional and you weren't expecting that. It's all good. So what I want you to do is to really dial up the kindness towards yourself this Christmas. So for me, how that looks is looking at the period running up to Christmas itself and afterwards, and still making sure that all my boundaries are in place, that all my self-care is still in place, that my practice is still a priority. It may be that you're not going to be in your own home. It may be that you're going abroad. It may be that you're going to have a whole lot of people in your house. Still be very, very clear about your boundaries. Of course, yes, you have to be flexible and things might change, but make it a priority. So if that means you have to say to your partner or to your mum, you know what, on Christmas Eve I'm going to take an hour for myself, I'm going to go out of the house, I'm going to go and I'm going to spend some time out in a coffee shop, I'm going to go and I'm going to book a yoga class in, like, you know, the week after Christmas. Whatever it is that you need to do, that you know that you can schedule and you can tell people about, is really important. So keeping your boundaries, making sure that your self-care and your practice are still number one, that's still a priority. And then understanding that you can tell people and ask for their support, so that it's not a case of having to go it on your own versus your inner perfectionist this Christmas. It's absolutely about bringing all your people on board with you and explaining that you want the Christmas to be really fun, you want it to be really easy, and you'd like other people's support to enable that to happen. Obviously turning up the loving kindness towards yourself, like really appreciating that this can be a time where your inner perfectionist may rear her head, and just being allowing of yourself to let that go, but to also to not acknowledge that it may be there, and not to attach to the drama of it. So to acknowledge that you may have the inner perfectionist, but to understand that what is actually really important for you. Just take some deep breaths in the moment and say, what is actually really important for me this Christmas? Is it that I have, matching wrapping paper for every present? Or is it that I actually have time for me to recharge, and I spend time with the people that I love and I enjoy that time? So just really check in and be really, really clear with yourself about what is actually important and what actually will enable you to feel the way you want to feel this Christmas. So my first words to you would be, have a think about what Christmas means to you. Like, really connect with the desired feelings for you. What is, if you had to do a big why for your Christmas, what would your big why be? Okay, so get that down, write down a few words, put it into an affirmation, journal around it, make an audio if you want to hear yourself saying it. So get really clear about that. Then give yourself some time and space to look at your diary and to understand where your self-care still is scheduled, every day in the run up to Christmas, including Christmas. What do you need to do extra, to schedule in, like going out of the house at some point, going to a yoga class, and then making sure that you tell your people about that, and so that they know that it's important to you. And then just setting yourself the intention that you're going to keep your boundaries really clear, and that just because it's Christmas, it doesn't make anything more acceptable than any other time. Then saying all of that, then coming from a place of love and appreciation for yourself, because if you're doing all of that when it comes to Christmas, you really will appreciate yourself. And understanding and appreciating the people in your life as well. So like just meeting them where they're at. If you're filling yourself up and you're like looking after your well-being, like the warrior that you are, then you will allow people in your life to be where they're at, and you can come at that from a place of appreciation. And then one final thing that I want to share before I go is to make sure that you are checking in with yourself during Christmas and post-Christmas, and however long the festivities last for you, and forever, to be honest, and writing down your achievements. So when you just 5 minutes before you go to bed, or in the morning when you sit down with a cup of tea, or whenever you've got an opportunity, you can even just say it out loud or think about it internally. But if you write it down, it does really add some power to it. Write down what you're proud of. If you find that you did let go of something that was really like kind of bugging you and you were wanting to make it perfect, and you let that go, then write that down. Write down, that you appreciated somebody in your family for who they are, rather than trying to make them somebody else. Write that down. Write down, I'm so grateful that I showed up for myself today, and I did my 10-minute practice before everybody else kind of started to ask me to do things for them. So making sure that you really are showing up and acknowledging your own achievements through the Christmas period will really, really help the inner perfectionist as well, because you'll be able to kind of reassure yourself that you are showing up for yourself, and that you are acknowledging yourself as well, because it's quite easy when we're in the kind of Christmas kind of vibe that's going on to get caught up with other people's emotions and other people's stories, and the way that we perhaps were 3, 4, 5 years ago. And if that happens, that's totally cool as well. But if you can then notice when you do something and you're like, oh, do you know what? 3 years ago, that would have sent me over the edge. And you know what? Today, instead, I just chose to take some deep breaths and connect with what I actually think is really important about Christmas for me. And the more you're able to do that and to acknowledge yourself in the process, the more that will happen for you. and the more that will become what is radiating from you rather than stress and anxiety and frustration. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what has sunk in for you, what you're going to take away, what you're going to make sure is a priority for you when you're kind of looking at your inner perfectionist this Christmas. And feel free to share this video with any other sensitive superstars you know who may well find that they have an inner perfectionist that they want to let go of over Christmas. And I will see you soon. Loads of love.